Hello, and welcome to our first Career Connector webinar. My name is Jeff DeJanvier, and I'm the Associate Director of Career Development, and I'm going to let my colleagues introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Ann Lepore, and I'm the Executive Director of Career Initiatives.
And I'm Claire Martin, and I'm our Director of Employer Engagement.
So in this webinar, we're going to show you how to log in as a faculty or staff member looking to hire student workers. We're also going to show you how to create a posting, how to look at applicants, and a couple other small tips. So I'm going to start by turning it over to Claire.
And I'm sharing it to our main career development webpage. From this page, you will be able to easily get to our main Career Connector page by clicking that menu option and going to Career Connector. And here you'll be able to see some information about Career Connector, the platform, additional webinar dates that we will be hosting live webinars. You'll be able to see a few items for students if you have students who need some support or assistance. And your main login information is in this section here. From here, you'll be able to, again, see some information for faculty and staff who hire students. If you need an account, this is how you will want to request one from our team, and we can create an account for you. And then the login button right over there. In addition, just for your awareness, we also have an alumni section and one for employers and other organizations that want to engage with us on campus. Another good area to note on this page is back up at the top, and on the right-hand side, you'll be able to see our FAQs, primarily our FAQs for Willamette students, faculty, and staff. Clicking here, you'll be able to see some frequently asked questions and, again, just get some additional information that can help you along as you're hiring students.
And just sorry, Claire, I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second. And just one quick note, just to make sure that you do click the faculty and staff login rather than the external employer login when you're first accessing the site.
Yes, perfect. And again, just to go back to that main Career Connector page, your login is right here. And I will stop sharing and pass it back to Jeff, who will show you how to post a student employment job.
So I'm currently logged in as Anne, and so we are going to see how to post a job. So over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see internships and job boards. So if you want to see jobs that external employers have posted, you can check them out there. And right below that, it says on-campus student jobs. So when you click that, it will take you to the internships and job boards, but the on-campus student jobs tab of it. So you can see positions that are currently posted by other people. So right now we have several. We have an athletics communication student assistant job, broadcast staff, gallery assistant. We have already created one, but we're going to show you how to start a new one. So you click plus post an on-campus student job. And then here's where you're going to put in your information. So the employer is going to be Willamette University. And then put in the job title. I'll put test student job. And then type of job. So this is going to be a part-time job. The salary range, if you pay minimum wage, you can change this to per hour, and you could put an hourly rate. It's really helpful for students to be able to share this information so that they know what they're going to be paid, whether it's a leadership award or a salary. That's really helpful for them to know. Location.
Is there a stipend option, Jeff? I think there is.
Yes, there's a stipend. There's also a flat fee. So if it's a leadership award position, I'd recommend stipend.
Yeah.
Just so that they know. And then you can put, if it's $2,000, you could put $2,000 in the minimum, just so that students can know. So location type. So this is telling students if it's flexible or if it has remote options. If you only want an in-person student, you can just leave it blank. Location, so you would select United States. And then this is where, if it's a Portland-based job for PNCA faculty and staff, you could put Portland. For Salem-based folks, you could put Salem. And then industry, you do have to select an industry. So I would recommend, where is it? Education. And then the job function. So let's pretend that we're looking for an office assistant. So administrative assistant / office management. Interview format. So if you're going to offer a on-campus interview, if you're going to offer virtual interviews, if you aren't sure yet, just select whichever one is most appropriate. For me, I'm going to put TBD. Work authorization. So what I would do is I would say permanent US work authorization required. Students that are international students, they are allowed to work on campus. So they do have work authorization. So for on-campus jobs, we don't need to really worry about this one. Work study required. So you can check yes or no. And then application methods. So you want to select apply via this site. So that means that students are going to submit their applications through Career Connector, and you'll be able to look at them after they apply. If you put apply via external link, you'll have to have a completely different web page set up, and that's more for our employer partners that are external. I don't recommend apply by email, but you can select that if you wish. This is where you're going to paste the job description. We're going to have a webinar recording by Justine Highsmith talking about things that you might want to consider putting in a job description. So take a look for that if you want to know more. If there's any additional attachments, like you want students to fill out a special document or a special form, you can always include that as an attachment, or if you want to include additional information. Your application document requirements. So this is where you can say, I want to require a resume, but I optionally would like to require a recommendation letter. So you don't check this box if you want it to be an optional application material. But if I wanted a cover letter and require it, I would check the box. So job dates. So this is when the job will be posted and when it will receive applications. So application begins on, this is when you are wanting students to begin to submit applications. So sometimes you might want to post a job, but you don't want students to be able to apply to it immediately. You might want to give it a couple weeks so students can really work on strong application materials. So I'm going to say this is going to be opening up on the 10th. And I will make it open at 9 a.m. And then the application deadline is when it's going to close. So students will no longer be able to apply at this time. I am going to select September 1st at 5 p.m. How do you plan on reviewing your applications? So I will review applicants as they come in and may close the position early. If you check this, that's good for students to know, so that way they feel that they need to apply as soon as possible. We know sometimes students will take a long time working on their application materials, and you'll get an influx right at the end, right before the deadline. If you plan on just reviewing and hiring the first person or first couple people that you see that are really qualified, you want to check this just to be transparent. And if you're wanting to wait until the very day that you put as the deadline, you would select this box. Anticipated job start date. So whenever you're hoping that they can start, I'll put the 7th. Interview details. So if you are going to be interviewing the person, you can select yourself. If not, you can input someone else. So let's say Claire Martin is going to be interviewing and she's not listed here. So I'm going to hit new contact. And this is where I'll put Claire Martin, job title, Director of Employer Engagement, and email address. And I have added Claire as an interviewer. You could choose to make this visible to students or not. So if I want students to be able to see Claire as an interviewer, they might reach out to her. So if you check the box, please make sure to note that. I'm going to choose not to check that box. This is where you're going to put your information. So a job posting contact name, this is for students to see who has posted the job and who they could potentially reach out to if they have questions. You do have to put your information, so you can select use my information. It puts Anne's in because I'm in Anne's profile. Her title is executive director. And if I don't want students to see this, I could just uncheck these. So eligibility. So this is where if you have a specific position that might have certain major requirements, like you're hiring for a TA position for physics, you don't want just any student to be able to apply. You want students who are physics majors to apply. So you can select major, and I can type in physics and check the box. So only physics majors at Willamette that are declared majors will be able to see this posting. If you are hiring for like an office assistant, you don't really have a major requirement. So what you're going to do is go to student group and select on-campus employment, either Salem or Portland, depending on what campus you're at. I'm going to select Salem. And the reason that it's really important to select this is it takes students who are on the Salem campus, which include students from the School of Law, Atkinson Graduate School of Management, SCIS, as well as Willamette College. And so it compiles all of them into one student group. So you don't have to go through and select a bunch of these options. For Portland, it's the same. So all PNCA students, including our MFA and BFA students, are within that one student group. Graduation terms. So this is, you would only really use if you are like, I don't want to hire a freshman. I would recommend against this unless the position really warrants it. So if you are hiring for like a colloquium associate, you don't want a first year student coming onto campus applying for that position. So you do want to select that maybe as, oh, I want people who are graduating in, spring 2028, spring 27, fall, and 29. I would recommend for almost every job, though, leaving this category blank. Degree level, bachelor, master's, doctoral students will include the School of Law, the JD students. So make sure just to leave that blank. And then college and schools, you can select if you wish. So this is only visible to admin of the Career Center. You don't need to worry about this. And then the owner email with the job posting will automatically populate. So it says Anne is the owner. You can either hit save draft or you can hit next. It's because I have not filled things out. I'm just gonna pop in some letters so we can move on. Yes. This is what happens when you don't fill it out as you go. The city was not in the database. Salem, Oregon. Make sure you don't just type Salem, you select Salem, Oregon. We're still learning the system in some ways as well. So now it's gone on for approval. So someone in the Career Center will approve this job posting. Basically, the reason we have approvals on is we just want to make sure that they've been posted correctly. We're not determining if this is worthwhile to be posted onto the site. We just want to make sure that you included the correct details, you included the correct student groups, and that everything was inputted correctly. So once it's approved, it will officially be in the job board. So now I'm going to go to the one that's already been posted, which is here. So this is how you check a job that has an applicant and you're wanting to see what the application looks like. So I go over to the applicants tab and I see that the test student has applied. It will have if they're work study eligible, if that has been something they have opted to include, as well as their student ID. The test student does not have a student ID. You can click here to view their resume, which then we'll pop it up in another tab, which is why it didn't pop up just now for all of you. And then you can click here and you could download their resume or their application package if there was more application materials. You could choose to message them. You can set a hiring decision. So let's say, you interviewed them, you hired them, you offered an extended an offer, they declined the offer, or you've chosen not to proceed with the applicant. It's really important that you select a hiring decision for us. We get a lot of students that come into the Career Center and they say, I have applied to so many jobs, I've never heard back, and for us, it's really helpful because then we on the back end, we don't share this with the students, but we can go into the applications and see, if interviews were extended, was an offer extended, is the position closed? That way we can at least give the students some closure by saying, the position was closed and they did fill the position. Let's work on your next application. So.
And just one note, if I can dive in,
Yeah.
Even if you do click a hiring decision, say you offer or you extended an offer to a student and you indicate it in here, you still have to go through the appropriate paperwork and documentation in Workday as well. So that is still an additional step. But as far as this is the application portal, it is really helpful for students to know where they stand and what the status of their application is.
Yeah, so I'm going to put that we interviewed this person. And so now it changes right here to hiring decision to interviewed. So yeah. And then if you want to close your job early, so let's say you have received enough applicants and you feel pretty good about it, and you indicated in your posting that you will close when you get an appropriate amount as you're reviewing, you can click the 3 dots here and you can choose to deactivate the posting. It will become inactive and it will not be visible to any students until it's reactivated. You can also choose to promote your posting. So you can promote it via email. You can also send a little custom message being like, I have this really cool job. I would encourage you to look into it. So yeah, and then that's about all that there is with job postings.
We hope that you find this particular platform easy to use. The early feedback that we've received from staff that have already used it has been positive. People are seeming to find it more user-friendly than our previous system, Handshake. So we really would encourage you, even if you're going to have a small applicant pool or a lot of parameters, it's really helpful for the university to be able to track this information and for us to be able to track our common student employers. So we encourage you to use it and try it. And we think that you'll be happy with it and definitely welcome any feedback. Any closing words, Claire?
If you have any questions, we're here to also support you.
All right. Thank you and good luck.